I am excited for Holloway. The shine hasn't really left for me. I think he's still the Oilers' best prospect by a country mile, to be honest. I think this is the year for him to thrive, especially knowing the experience he had last season as well. Like, he
Yeah.
should be able to take that and run with it a little bit. So unfortunately, he went to Bakersfield and got hurt. But when he did play in Bakersfield, he was pretty good and was able to score goals. So I think Holloway can score 15 goals this season. I think Lavoie is he's such an intriguing player because we all thought he was kind of done, to be honest, at the start of
Yeah.
last season. He couldn't find any consistency in his game. Then all of a sudden, he just found it all. So if he's able to bring that confidence into the league, then yes, I think he could have a very positive year. But if he starts the year kind of down, similar to what Holloway kind of did last year, right? Like, he made that bad pass against Vancouver that led to a goal. He got blown up against the Buffalo Sabres thanks to Warren Fogle, and then he just never really got back on the tracks for him. I think if Lavoie is able to chip in here and there, just not even goals, just like positive performances early, then he should be okay. But I'll stick with Holloway.
Dave Lunn is in and says if Holloway doesn't break out this year, he's part of a trade deadline package. I think you could honestly probably say the same about Warren Fogle. I mean, Warren Fogle potentially, yeah, but Philip Broberg too. I think Holloway and Broberg are at very similar spots in their tenure with the Edmonton Oilers. Dave Lunn says Holloway is as shiny as a Manchester autumn day. Liam, does that make sense?
A Manchester autumn day. Well, it just rains in Manchester.
So would it be shiny then if everything's rained on?
Could be after once the sun is glossing in through. Yeah, I suppose we could go with that one.
I just don't know if that was a dig on Holloway or if that was a compliment. I don't know what an autumn Manchester day is like.
Wet.
There's our player card for Dylan Holloway and how we graded him last year. We gave him an A in Bakersfield because he scored 7 goals in 12 games with the Condors last year when he was healthy. Like, when he went down there, he was really good. Chance of returning, you can bump that up to 100 now. If he didn't get traded early in the offseason as part of a Travis Konechny trade, wasn't going to get moved. So, yeah, Holloway, 100% chance of returning now. 100% chance of being on the team. I think it's probably close, right? Like, I really can't see them sending him back down to Bakersfield. I think it's one of those things where you're probably committed to keeping him up with the big club, right? He can go through waivers, so
yeah.
sorry, he can bypass waivers. He doesn't need waivers to go down, is what I'm trying to say.
I don't think they'll send him down. I think maybe if they run into like the cap problem, he'll be the guy that gets sent down when really he just stands. That's about the closest we'll see him going to Bakersfield, I think. They wanted him around last year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, he was up and he was starting in the top 6 on opening night. So, Christopher Palmer says, don't measure everything in goals and assists. Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about the success of the third line, last year with both Fogle and McLeod on the ice at 5-on-5, the Oilers outshot the opposition like 164 to 160. It was basically dead even, and the goals were 10-10. If your third line is breaking even on this Oilers team, you're happy with it. Like, it's not a failure by any stretch, but I'm just trying to take this in a way of like, can the Oilers get more dangerous next year? And I think the path to them being a more dangerous team and the path to them winning the division, winning the conference, winning the President's Trophy, probably a lot of it is centered around having a bottom 6 that's going to win you more games than it did last year. Not just break even, but win you more games.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, you have to measure everything in goals and assists. It's the biggest and most important stat in hockey, in sports, to be honest. Like, you don't want to have a Jesse Puljujarvi situation where we're all like, oh, well, he's so good on the boards. Like, look at him in the neutral zone. It's like, yeah, but he hasn't scored in 80 games. Like, you need them to be productive on a consistent basis. But yeah, as long as they can be positive every night and have a goal here and there, then I think they'll be fine. I do think those 3 guys, if it's Holloway, McLeod, and Fogle, then they'll be able to score more consistently anyway.